Hello again. Ah, look at that hair. uh, Losing your hair sucks, man. It's like I got I got some barren terrain up top, and I have a little tuft there that's grown out. But I think my professional baseball playing grandfather, Bobby Byrne, who was on the 1909 World Series Pirates winning team. They beat the Detroit Tigers and Ty Cobb in the 1909 World Series. And my grandfather, Bobby Byrne, Byrne, was the starting third baseman. And wow, I would just like to have been like sitting on his shoulder, experiencing everything he went through that year. And the following year. He led the league in hits the following year, 1910. But 1909, he was traded from the St. Louis Cardinals to the Pittsburgh Pirates halfway through the season. He's playing third base next to Honus Wagner. I like to just go back in time and say, hey, Pop, can you get me one of his baseball cards? Because if you have one of those and it's in half-decent condition, you're a millionaire. That baseball card is extremely valuable. The beginning days of baseball. I always wonder what those days would have been like if the African American men had been allowed to play baseball. They played baseball, and this would have been as good as the first Super Bowl between the AFL and the NFL. There were the first one was, let me see, 66, 67. All right, 67, 68, 69. So 67, 68, Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs and somebody else, I forget who. But then in 69, the Jets from the AFL, from the upstart AFL, beat the Baltimore Colts. And that was quite an upset. Why the hell am I forget even why I'm talking about that, except for my grandfather. Oh, okay. And I'm saying that with, the segregation is crazy and is integral of a part of our culture and society as it was. How awesome would it have been to have a World Series between the champions from the Negro League, which was, I don't know when it was formed. My friend from Bell, James Hargraves, I think his father played in that league, in the Negro League. But who was that famous pitcher? I can't remember his name. Satchel Paige? I think that was it, Satchel Paige. He pitched till he was like 90. I mean, can you imagine? Like, oh, God, that would have been so incredible. Okay, you won the World Series, Yankees, right? But now to win the World Championship and be champions of the entire world, you have to play the champions of the Negro League. Oh, my goodness. Talk about a PR event, man. Wow. Wowzer, Bowser. Shoot. I mean, just having coverage of the Negro League would be so good because they all went unknown. I mean, how many Willie Mays, Hank Aaron's, Ricky Henderson's, Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, excuse me. I'm not giving Barry Bonds any props, but Bobby Bonds, man, that guy, he was a stud, man. Bobby Bonds. I saw him play. How do you lose with a guy like that on your team? I don't know. Anyway, all right. So I was talking about my career, the difference between a career and a job, and everybody's going to have to be on a career path going forward, which I totally think is right and good. It's good not just for the culture and society in general, but for the individual. Why would you want to stay in a job that's mindless? I don't get it. And there's jobs where people talk over the phone and they're working on a computer, but they're still mindless jobs. I did one for 7 years, 19, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 7 years, from 1911 to 2011 to 2018. I did pretty much a mindless job. You know, people call and say, you know, what about this and what about my account? Can you tell me something that I don't know? And I thought, yeah, I could tell you something you don't know. Yeah. So, I just wanted to talk briefly about Tesla too, because it kind of segues. Is that a word? Segue? Segue? It's a segue. It's a transition. Careers and jobs to practical applications today. I'm a big Elon Musk fan, even though he did give Donald Trump his Twitter account back. I wish he had not done that, because that could lead to another treasonous insurrection, and if it does, my opinion is they'll just mow him down. Anybody tries to storm our capital like that again should just be cut down. They're one of two things: traitors or invaders. Nothing in between. Anyway, yeah, the jobs that are mindless are going to go away. So you're going to have to keep your head and brain together to do most of the jobs that are far out in the future. I mean, you know, that societal illustration is not going to exist in my lifetime, but it's definitely coming. It's on its way, and it's irrevocable. Why should they pay a human being to do a job that a robot can do? I mean, you know, I see people cutting the grass and getting paid for that, and they're pushing a lawnmower, they're riding it, they're driving and steering a lawnmower. That's a mindless job. Now, some people, I get it. Some people don't want that kind with no big-time responsibilities or anything like that. But you're gonna have to find something else to do. Like they're gonna have to, interface with, you know, robotic applications somehow. So one person might be in charge of 10 or 15 or 20 robots and making sure that they work okay. So that'd be all right. I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that. I would not want to do that job. I'd much rather be on the phone with somebody that's trying to keep their business afloat, and they need, you know, efficient advice and access to, you know, important resources that they need to run their business. I did that for 13 years for Bell, and a more fulfilling career. Well, my photography career was fulfilling, and I did a lot of aerial photography. I love that too. And I was so fortunate to get this opportunity with Bell. My first job, as I said, was 15 years old, and it was mindless, totally mindless. But I got to appreciate the music from Jim Morrison and the Doors. There's nothing mindless about music, I can tell you that. It's an extension of your emotions. If you're a musician and you're a good one and you love, you know, you found that as a love of something that you love to do, that you love this profession that you're in, the music profession. You know, not an easy. There's no easy profession. I'm going to say there's probably no easy career. But as a business, man, music. I love there was an interview with Greg Allman. He died 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. Let's see, 2022, 2019. I think. But anyway, before he passed away, there was a reporter asking him. I mean, he had a very successful career, although, you know, he ran into some speed bumps along the way, like drugs and like money. As a photographer, man, you know, or as a musician, you could say they're kind of artistic. A lot of people don't consider photography art form. I consider it a hybrid of art and, you know, capturing interesting light. But now with Photoshop, I don't know. But anyway, so musicianship. He is in the entertainment industry, this is pretty much true across the board, is that each person you see in the movies is their own business owner. Even though it doesn't appear that way, they could be on the same team in the movie or doing something, interacting with a lot of people. Television shows, you see all the different actors, you know, and they're like a family maybe, or, you know, they're interacting with a lot of other people. Each person you see is a business owner. Each individual is a business owner. And an accomplished photographer, Brian Hafley, up in Connecticut, who I really admire, he's hung in there and has been doing it for a long time. We crossed paths recently when my former associate passed away. He was at the funeral, and I asked him, I said, because he's still doing photography, and I've retired. I asked him, I said, I'm going to say that photography is a minor part of your business. And he says, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to say that photography is no more than 10 to 15% of your business, and the other bulk and the other percentage of it is business. I said, is that true? And he agreed. He says, actually, it's a little more severe than that. It's more like 5% to 95%. Because after you've been a photographer for a while, you know about all the ins and outs of your equipment and, you know, the quality of light that you're getting and everything else. But making a living at it, whoa, you got to be always looking for that big catch, you know, like fishermen out at sea. You know, they're looking for Jaws, and Jaws is looking for them. Just a final note about Tesla and Elon Musk. Yeah, he bought Twitter, and from the moment he bought Twitter, the price of a Tesla stock plummeted. But he's trying to make it fair for everybody. He might have overextended himself in this case, but that doesn't diminish the amazing achievements of Tesla or SpaceX. Man, those two companies are just off the chart amazing. I never thought that I'd see in my lifetime boosters. I've heard people talk about this, like, you know, the experts in space travel, all of them said, well, we can't just, like on the Apollo 11 mission and the Apollo missions, they'd start with this huge rocket and they'd shoot it into the air. They'd go to the moon and come back. The only piece of that rocket that comes back and it's not reusable. Not one part of that rocket was reusable, but the only thing that came back was this little capsule with the 3 guys in it. The rest of that gigantic, behemoth, monstrous rocket ship was lost. It's just destroyed. And so the idea and the talk in the industry was, we got to figure out a way, you know, to go to space without losing all the components that get us there. Well, guess who did that? Elon Musk. And when I saw the video, I thought I was watching a sci-fi movie from the 50s or the 60s. It couldn't be real, and it was. These boosters put the payload up into orbit, and then they turn around and come back and land themselves back at Cape Kennedy. And if you haven't seen that, you ought to go on YouTube and see it. So look forward for more artificial intelligence and robotics to do the jobs that nobody really wants to do. You know, cleaning bathrooms, taking care of somebody that's incontinent, meaning you got to change their diaper while they're in bed all the time. Somebody that's like quadriplegic and lying in bed. They just sit there and breathe and eat and drink and crap themselves all day, every day. And somebody's got to clean that stuff up, clean up after them. And a robot that can do that, I'd rather have a robot doing it than a person, because nobody really wants to do that work. And, you know, we'll have to find other ways for people to pursue a career and other careers to pursue. That's my 2 cents on the difference between jobs and a career. And I hope you all find career paths, not only for yourself, but for those that you love. Peace.